Something led you to this message tonight, and it may be a warning arriving at the exact moment you were meant to hear it. Many people ignore signs of danger, but some individuals feel a pulling inside when the world reaches a critical turning point. You may be sensing that something huge is approaching, and this message will help you understand why global events feel so unstable right now. The world is shifting faster than ever before, and these rapid changes match specific warnings described in ancient biblical prophecies. Russia, China, and Iran are strengthening their alliance, and their military coordination has increased sharply during the past few years. Tensions with the United States continue rising, and many analysts believe these movements resemble the early stages of a global conflict. Donald Trump has repeatedly warned that the world is closer to World War III than any previous generation has ever been. These warnings are not simple political statements, because intelligence reports quietly confirm the growing danger behind closed doors. Several nations now possess weapons capable of disabling entire power grids, and these systems are specifically designed for surprise attacks. Modern civilization is completely dependent on electricity, and losing the grid would instantly push society into chaos and confusion. An EMP attack does not destroy buildings, because it focuses on destroying the electrical systems that keep those buildings functioning. A single high-altitude detonation could shut down communication networks, transportation systems, hospitals, and essential infrastructure. Most experts agree the United States is especially vulnerable, because the electrical grid is old, fragile, and largely unprotected. Many biblical passages describe sudden darkness falling across nations, and this description matches the effects of a large-scale EMP event. Prophecy speaks of people standing confused and helpless, and this aligns with conditions created by a long-term national blackout. If the power went out nationwide, stores would empty quickly, water systems would fail, and hospitals would lose critical equipment. Few families have the ability to survive long without electricity, and most households rely on the grid for every essential need. This vulnerability makes an EMP strike attractive to enemy nations, because it collapses a society without requiring a traditional invasion. Russia has openly discussed high-altitude weapons capable of disabling satellites and national grids during conflict escalation. China continues developing advanced missile platforms that could deliver EMP payloads, and their military drills are growing more aggressive. Iran has launched satellites that experts believe could eventually carry systems designed for electronic disruption or grid interference. These developments match the pattern described in prophecy, where rising nations prepare the world for a period of global turmoil. Jesus described end-time events as birth pains, meaning each crisis becomes stronger and more frequent as the final season approaches. We now see economic instability, increasing conflict, political division, and rising threats converging into one accelerating timeline. Many people sense something spiritual behind these events, because the pace feels unnatural and aligned with long-expected prophecies. The United States appears central in these warnings, because prophecy describes a powerful nation collapsing in a surprisingly short time. This collapse is described as sudden and shocking, which resembles the immediate impact of a large EMP strike on modern society. If electricity vanished without warning, millions of families would face shortages of food, water, heat, medicine, and communication. Most households do not possess backup systems that operate independently from the national grid during a long-term blackout. This is why preparation has become essential, and many experts recommend having an independent energy source before any major crisis. Systems like the Energy Revolution system were created for situations where the power grid fails and families need reliable electricity. Having a private energy source could become the difference between survival and desperation during a prolonged national emergency. The world is entering a fragile moment, and the combination of prophecy and current events suggests a major shift is approaching. You are hearing this message now because preparation must begin before any major disruption occurs, not after the lights go out. Many Americans believe a large-scale attack would be obvious, but an EMP strike is silent, invisible, and nearly impossible to detect in time. A high-altitude detonation produces no sound or heat on the ground, making the event confusing for people who suddenly lose electricity everywhere. Cars would instantly stall on highways, phones would shut down, and every digital device connected to a circuit would fail without warning. Most people would assume a temporary outage, but the truth would become clear once communication networks stayed offline for several hours. Without phone service, emergency alerts, or internet access, the entire population would be left guessing about what happened. Grocery stores rely on constant deliveries, and once trucks stop moving, shelves would become empty within a very short period. Hospitals use advanced electronics for nearly every procedure, and losing power would place countless lives at immediate risk. Banks would instantly shut down, and families would lose access to savings, credit cards, and digital payment systems. Within days, many communities would face shortages, and social stability would weaken as people search for resources. This exact scenario matches descriptions from several prophetic passages that describe sudden darkness and widespread confusion. Ezekiel mentions nations being thrown into disorder, which resembles the immediate aftermath of a nationwide grid failure. Isaiah describes darkness covering lands, and the world experiencing fear and uncertainty during a time of great upheaval. Revelation describes a powerful nation collapsing quickly, which many scholars believe could represent a modern superpower losing its strength. The alignment between modern vulnerabilities and ancient warnings suggests the coming crisis may unfold exactly as prophecy described. Russia, China, and Iran understand these weaknesses, and their leaders have studied how electronic warfare could shift global power. During recent years, Russia has invested heavily in weapons designed to disable critical infrastructure without direct physical destruction. China has expanded its space program, which allows them to position systems capable of delivering electronic attacks from orbit. Iran continues developing long-range missile technology, and their military leaders openly discuss strategies involving unconventional warfare. These advancements are not coincidental, because all three nations share an interest in weakening the United States before open conflict occurs. Global tensions increased significantly after new geopolitical shifts, especially as leaders warned about unstable international conditions. Donald Trump repeatedly stated the world is moving toward a dangerous moment, and his warnings match what intelligence agencies already know. Several military officials have admitted that an EMP attack is one of the most serious threats facing the United States today. Despite these warnings, most families remain unprepared and assume the government will protect them during a major crisis. The truth is that a nationwide blackout caused by an EMP would overwhelm every emergency system within hours. Communities would need to rely on personal preparedness, because centralized support would not arrive quickly enough to help everyone. Families with independent energy sources and stored supplies would be far more secure than those relying solely on the grid. This is why survival experts recommend having a backup system that can generate power without relying on external infrastructure. The energy revolution system was created for situations exactly like this, giving households a reliable source of electricity during downtime. Most people underestimate how important independent power becomes when phones, heaters, refrigerators, and medical devices stop working. Even basic lighting becomes valuable in a blackout, and families with alternative energy solutions maintain control of their environment. Global uncertainty continues growing, and each new conflict or political shift increases the risk of a sudden unexpected crisis. Prophecy students understand that preparation does not come from fear, but from recognizing the season and taking wisdom seriously. You are hearing this message now because there is still time to prepare before the world enters its most unstable period. The global stage is becoming more volatile, and every major power is preparing for the possibility of conflict that could reshape the world. Russia continues expanding its military operations, and their leaders openly state they will use any tool necessary to protect their interests. China is rapidly increasing its presence around Taiwan, sending aircraft and naval vessels into contested areas almost daily. These actions place the world on edge, because even a small miscalculation could ignite a conflict no nation is prepared to contain. Iran's growing influence across the Middle East adds additional pressure, creating a dangerous triangle of nations opposed to American power. Each of these countries understands the strategic advantage of disabling the United States before a large-scale war begins. An EMP attack would give them that advantage, because it removes America's technological superiority without triggering immediate nuclear retaliation. Intelligence reports show that several adversaries have tested systems capable of high-altitude electronic disruption during international tensions. These tests are rarely covered by mainstream media, leaving most people unaware of the true scale of global risk. Meanwhile, biblical prophecy describes a season where nations rise against nations, and unrest spreads across the entire world. Jesus warned that wars and rumors of wars would increase before the final period of history unfolds. We now see those warnings manifesting worldwide, and the pattern grows stronger every year. The economic instability, political division, and military aggression occurring today closely mirror the descriptions found in ancient prophecy. Many scholars believe these signs indicate the world is moving toward a major prophetic milestone. The potential collapse of the electrical grid could serve as the sudden event that shifts global power dramatically. If electricity fails nationwide, communication lines are severed, and the country would struggle to coordinate any effective response. This vulnerability creates a scenario where the United States could fall rapidly without a single soldier crossing its borders. Prophecy includes descriptions of nations observing the fall of a great power from a distance, shocked by its sudden collapse. These descriptions match a scenario where a technologically advanced nation becomes powerless overnight due to an EMP attack. This is why understanding the threat is essential, and preparation becomes a responsibility rather than an optional choice. Families who take action now will be far better positioned to protect their loved ones if a crisis suddenly unfolds. Preparation is not about fear, it is about wisdom and recognizing the reality of modern global danger. Many people believe they have time, but every major collapse in history has arrived faster than expected. The window to prepare often closes before the population realizes how severe the situation actually is. An independent power source allows families to maintain basic needs during the critical early stages of a blackout. Electricity becomes one of the most valuable tools during a crisis, enabling communication, heating, and safe food storage. The energy revolution system was designed to function during grid failures, providing a reliable energy source without relying on outside networks. This system can operate when the national grid is destroyed, giving families a powerful advantage during extended emergencies. Access to electricity also helps maintain security, because light and communication reduce vulnerability during chaotic situations. Many survival experts believe energy independence will become one of the most important assets in the coming years. Geopolitical tensions continue rising, and each new conflict increases the likelihood of an unexpected strike on American infrastructure. The Bible encourages believers to watch the signs and remain alert, because ignoring warnings leads to unnecessary suffering. This message comes at a critical time, and preparing now could make the difference between stability and crisis in your household. Humanity entered a dangerous stage where global powers test boundaries with reckless confidence shaped by years of political tension and prophetic warnings. Many believe Donald Trump's return to the global spotlight intensified the geopolitical uncertainty already rising across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. Every new statement from Washington or Moscow seems to echo warnings that Bible scholars have studied for decades regarding the final conflicts. Russia increased coordination with nations long connected through history and prophecy, forming alliances that mirror ancient descriptions from Ezekiel and Daniel. Reports from major intelligence agencies suggest Russia continues developing advanced electronic warfare tools capable of crippling Western infrastructure. These developments forced many experts to re-examine the possibility of a coordinated strike targeting communication lines and the national electric grid. What concerns analysts most is the combination of military posturing and cyber capabilities synchronized to create maximum disruption during a major global crisis. Many prophecy teachers believe increasing global tension aligns with end-time patterns described in Scripture, especially regarding conflict and sudden destruction. Some point to Ezekiel's vision describing a northern coalition rising with unprecedented power and unleashing chaos across nations living in perceived safety. The growing divide between nuclear powers intensifies fears that a sudden miscalculation could trigger a cascade leading directly toward global conflict. Military leaders warn that modern warfare focuses heavily on disabling a nation before traditional combat begins, often through electromagnetic disruption. This method allows attackers to paralyze communication, transportation, finances, and food distribution in minutes without firing large-scale conventional weapons. Current tensions between NATO and Russia sharpen the concern that a targeted high-altitude detonation could activate an electromagnetic pulse across key regions. Such a strike would instantly overwhelm electrical systems not hardened against sudden energy surges powerful enough to disable most modern devices. Experts say even a limited EMP could shut down cities, cripple hospitals, silence emergency communication, and cut off critical supply chains. When combined with increasing global instability, the threat adds pressure to prepare physically, mentally, and spiritually for sudden disruptions. These warnings match patterns described in prophecies concerning a time when nations experience fear, confusion, and rapid collapse across major systems. Jesus spoke about days when people's hearts would fail from fear of events unfolding across the world with unstoppable force. Analysts now argue these warnings are not distant predictions but real possibilities forming in our generation with alarming clarity. The rise of conflicts in the Middle East strengthens the urgency because multiple regions face escalating tensions within a compressed timeline. Prophecy often describes a convergence of events happening simultaneously, creating pressure across political, economic, and military systems. This convergence is visible as nations prepare for scenarios involving cyber attacks, grid failures, and electromagnetic disruptions. In recent months, several nations conducted surprise military drills involving space-based weapons designed to interfere with satellites and communication networks. These drills sent a message that controlling the information battlefield is as important as controlling physical territory. Meanwhile, Donald Trump repeatedly warned that America faces vulnerabilities that enemies could exploit during global crises or national division. He highlighted concerns that the electric grid remains dangerously exposed despite years of recommendations from top security advisors. As global tensions rise, the possibility of a deliberate EMP attack grows more realistic and more strategically appealing to hostile powers. This threat also connects strongly to the narrative of sudden darkness and global confusion described in several end-time prophecies. Many people sense a shift in the world as weather extremes, wars, economic instability, and moral decline accelerate simultaneously. This combination pushes more viewers to seek understanding through biblical prophecy because these patterns match warnings given thousands of years ago. Researchers analyzing EMP scenarios estimate that even a partial grid collapse would create massive shortages within days across major population centers. Food distribution would halt, refrigeration would fail, and clean water access would become limited, forcing millions into immediate survival mode. Hospitals would face catastrophic overload as medical equipment shuts down and emergency services lose communication capabilities. Banking systems would freeze without digital access, causing panic as people cannot withdraw money or verify financial records. Transportation networks would collapse because modern vehicles rely on sensitive electronic components vulnerable to electromagnetic disruption. This vulnerability across every system shows why preparation becomes essential long before any major event takes place. The energy revolution system prepares families with step-by-step instructions to build a reliable energy source designed to function during grid failures. It requires basic tools and provides a cost-effective method that protects households from complete dependence on external power. Many families have turned to this system because traditional generators require fuel, create noise, and attract unwanted attention during crises. Energy Revolution system offers a quiet and renewable alternative that keeps essential devices powered when everything else collapses. Viewers who understand biblical prophecy recognize preparation as a form of stewardship and wisdom in times of increasing instability. Those who take action now position themselves to protect their families and support their communities during the earliest hours of crisis. With global tension rising, preparation becomes not only practical but spiritually responsible as signs intensify across the world. The warnings from prophecy, current events, and modern analysts all point toward a season when preparation becomes life-saving. Those who ignore these signs may find themselves unprepared for disruptions that experts say could last months or even years. As this video continues, you will learn more reasons why grid failure represents one of the greatest threats of our generation. And more importantly, why taking steps today ensures your family does not face the collapse unprotected or uninformed. If you appreciate content that prepares you for the future, take a moment and like this video because it helps reach more people. The more people aware of these dangers, the more lives can be secured before sudden events catch the world off guard. This message is not about fear but about understanding the reality of our time through the lens of prophecy and practical wisdom. Nations continue making decisions that push global stability toward a breaking point where even small conflicts can ignite worldwide consequences. As tensions grow, the window to prepare narrows, and the importance of personal readiness grows stronger each day. That is why the energy revolution system remains one of the most valuable resources for families wanting independence in uncertain times. Before we continue, remember that taking action today can protect you tomorrow, especially in a world where uncertainty increases daily. As we reach the end of this message, remember nothing in today's world is guaranteed to remain stable or predictable for the days ahead. Every warning from experts, analysts, and prophecy aligns with the reality that major disruption can strike without any visible countdown or public alert. The patterns unfolding across nations show geopolitical pressure building at a pace humanity has never witnessed in modern history. This is the moment where personal preparation becomes more important than political promises or hopes that everything will return to normal. History shows that civilizations collapse not in centuries but in days when their energy systems fail and panic spreads across unprepared populations. Your decision today determines whether your family faces chaos with fear or stands protected with practical solutions and spiritual clarity. The energy revolution system gives households the ability to remain powered, prepared, and calm during the darkest moments of a national emergency. This resource allows you to break dependence on fragile systems and create a reliable backup that functions even during catastrophic grid failures. Those who wait until disaster strikes will find supplies gone, fuel unavailable, and information cut off when survival matters most. I urge you to take action now because preparation is not fear, it is wisdom backed by prophecy and confirmed by modern events. If this video opened your eyes or strengthened your understanding, make sure you like the video so more people receive this warning in time. Share this message with friends and family so they have a chance to prepare before unexpected events alter their lives forever. Most importantly, click the link in the description to access the energy revolution system before the window of preparation closes. Thank you for watching until the end, and may you stay alert, stay prepared, and stay protected as prophecy continues unfolding around us.